If you're looking into infinite banking, there's 5 questions you need to ask your agent before you start working with them. Hi, my name's Anthony Faso. I'm a recovering CPA, founder of Infinite Wealth Consultants, and also co-host of the Infinite Wealth podcast. And what I found with a lot of times when people are looking at getting into infinite banking, their first thoughts are, what insurance company should I use? And they start thinking about some of the design options. Now, though those are both important questions, what's a more important question is working with the right IBC agent. Because if you have a good agent, they're going to be able to guide you and properly answer what company to work with and how to design it. So let's dive into it. First question you should ask an IBC agent is, are you all in? And what I mean by that is, are they doing other aspects in financial services? Are they doing IRAs and 401ks? Do they have is IBC their side gig, or is this their full-time gig? You're going to want to be involved with somebody who not only lives and breathes this, but we want to make sure that they're going to be there when you need them. Are they going to be there 10 years from now? So also, what do their policies look like? Are they whole life or they're IULs? Do they have multiple policies? This is a key question, because if somebody is really all in with infinite banking, they're going to naturally need more policies as their families grow, as their income grows, as that first policy gets full. If they're all in, they're going to know that they need to have another policy. Honestly, I would also ask them what their premiums are. I mean, if it's a few $100 or a few $1,000s, they're not all in, right? So you need to be working with somebody who is all in with infinite banking. You know what? As I'm giving you these questions while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and answer them from our perspective of Infinite Wealth Consultants. All we do is infinite banking. I had a CPA firm before, and Cameron had his own business before, but we had both realized that if we wanted to be the best at infinite banking, we had to be all in. I couldn't be an expert in taxes and in infinite banking. Our philosophy is you can only be an expert in one thing. If not, you're a jack of all trades, master of none. So personally, I have over 17 policies. That is a mixture of whole life and term. And I'm putting in about 6 digits a year. Not saying that to brag by any means, but just letting you know that I'm all in. If I was sitting here and I'm only putting 10, 20 grand in, I don't fully believe infinite banking. So the person you're dealing with should have multiple policies and be putting in some large premiums. The second one here is one of my favorites. Ask them, how do they use their policy? Is it to finance liabilities, or is it to finance assets? This is a very important question. Now, before we dive into that, let's talk about what an asset and a liability is. We follow a lot of Robert Kiyosaki, and he easily explains it as a liability takes money from you, asset brings money to you. So a liability would be, are we using the policy to maybe pay off some debt, maybe pay off a mortgage, finance vacations, or your taxes, AKA you're the one repaying the loan. Okay. Now, if we're using it for assets, that means we're going to be using the policy ideally to buy cash flowing assets, whether that is investing in your business. This works really well with real estate, or maybe there's an opportunity for you to start a new business. And so if you're using it for liabilities, the skill set needed for that is a little different, because you need to have the software to really, and the expertise to know to put all your debt in order, to know how you're going to pay those off. And if you're using it for assets, again, you need a different skill set, right? You need to be able to maybe ideally bring up some opportunities for some assets and be able to guide somebody when to use a policy and when not to use the policy. For us, we started using it for liabilities, and we would have people bring in all of their debt, and we would work with them to pay off their debt and run that through a policy and then pay off the policy loan. But the problem what we found is we never solved the underlying issue on why the client got into debt in the first place. And since we didn't solve that, what had happened is they ended up getting in more debt again. And to be honest, I don't think that they were better off. We got them out of debt, but then they got back into it, and now we have these large policy loans. So we had transitioned more towards following Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad. And our goal is to use a policy to create your passive income to be more than your monthly expenses. So we focus on using the policy for real estate, expanding or starting a business. And I would tell you, there are so many ways that for you to create passive income. It's almost overwhelming. It's amazing how many different strategies that you never even heard of. In fact, I'll give you an example of one. I'm sure you've heard of flipping real estate, right? We buy the asset, improve it, and I hopefully sell it for more than we paid for. Did you know you can do that same philosophy, but with cash flowing websites? You can buy a website for a few $1,000s that is cash flowing a few $100s. You could buy that, improve it, and then you can sell it for more, or maybe you keep it. Now, what I'm going to do here, if you check out this link here, that will go to a video of a podcast that we did talking about this strategy. Now, if you're looking to learn more about infinite banking, I will say that we do have what we call as a discovery call, meaning you get on a call for 15 to 30 minutes with Cameron or I, answer your questions, see if IBC is a good fit for you, and then we'll talk about the best next step. So link for that will be in the notes. Now, the next question you should ask your IBC agent: are you a certified infinite banking practitioner? Now, Nelson Nash wrote this book, Becoming Your Own Banker. This is what started it all with infinite banking. Now, there's many people that have come after him and have maybe put their own spin or their own brand name on it. But the bottom line, it all started here with Nelson Nash from Becoming Your Own Banker. And as infinite banking started to become more popular, as you can imagine, some people started to misuse it, meaning that they weren't using whole life. Maybe they're using IULs, or they're not designing them properly. And that was hindering the brand of infinite banking. So in order to protect that, what the Nelson Nash Institute did is they created a certification. And what that means is to become certified, there's actually a lot going into it. There's an interview with the people on the board. Not only is there a test that you have to take, you need to be working under a mentor for a certain period of time to make sure that you know how to run illustrations and properly serve our IBC clients. There's also a code of ethics. So I would recommend only working with somebody who is certified. And I will tell you, we're going to give you the link so you can find out who's certified and if the person you're working with is. Now, if you go to the infinitebanking.org website, there is a ton of information. There's some resources here. There's even some free stuff. The Laura Murphy report. I mean, there's some great information. You can get lost in there for a long time. But what you can also see in here is find a practitioner near you. If you click on that, what you can either put in their last name, or you could click on the state. We live in Nevada, and in Nevada, the people that are certified are Cameron and myself. So this top one, this means that they live in the state. So Cameron and I are the only practitioners that physically live in Nevada. However, you can see here, these are all people that they may live out in Nevada, but they're licensed to do business in Nevada. So I would say personally, I don't have a problem working remotely. This gives you an opportunity to be able to work with the best. But if you want to work with somebody who's local, you just go here right on the top. You can also take a look at their profile, which will give you a little bit of information. I do have more than one shirt. Uh, just so you know, but this is some information. You can go to their website, you can contact them directly, kind of learn a little bit more about them. Now, in regards to Infinite Wealth Consultants, as you kind of saw, Cameron and I are both certified. All of our coaches are certified. I've been certified practitioner since the very beginning of when they first started it. And I've also had the honor to speak at the annual think tank, which is exciting conference, right? All about life insurance and infinite banking, but only people who are certified practitioners are able to attend. Now, now don't get me wrong. There's people that are not certified that are great at what they do, right? Very similar to, I'm sure there's some paralegals that are much better than some attorneys. But when your life's on the line, are you going to put that in trust with a paralegal or an attorney, right? I mean, do you want somebody who they both have knowledge, but that attorney is the one who's made the extra effort to pass the test, to become certified? And why would you not want to work with the person who's taken that extra step? And that gives you some more credibility. But one of the great things about on your aspect, whether somebody's certified or not, there's no additional cost to you. All of our commissions are already baked into the numbers of the illustration. So if you work with that, most have you work with a paralegal or an attorney, typically picking the paralegal because they're going to be cheaper, right? But in this case, by working with somebody who's certified or somebody who's not, there's no additional cost to you. So I would recommend that you work with somebody who is certified. Now, the next question you should ask your IBC agent is, do they charge a fee? Now, with infinite banking, this is a very high service industry that we have, because not only is there education up front, but also moving forward, the implementation of infinite banking, there is quite a bit. Because do we need to take the loan? How do we take the loan? How do we repay it? When do I use a policy? When do I not? I have this extra money. Do I pay down a loan, or do I start a new policy or put it in PUAs? You're going to need somebody who's going to be able to be there, that you can trust and be able to ask questions. More and more agents are charging for that service, whether it's to charge to meet with them up front, or even to charge them on the back end. Personally, for us, I don't have a problem with if people are going to charge. I'm a capitalist. If you can charge and people will pay it, all the power to you. Here at Infinite Wealth, we just haven't found the need to charge an additional fee. So to meet with us, to go through the education and to go through the implementation as far as loans and all that service, there is not a fee, additional fee to you. We feel what we get paid from the insurance company is more than sufficient. Interesting example, we had gotten a call when somebody had come in and they had gotten their first policy with another agent and was excited to put it to work. And when they called them to start taking some loans and learning how to implement infinite banking, they said, hey, we're gladly show you. That's part of our coaching program. It's part of our coaching program, and that'll be a $2,500 fee. Needless to say, that did not go over well, which is why she had called us, because we didn't have the fee. And what was interesting, she is now a client of Infinite Wealth Consultants because it was time for her to get a second policy. So we're helping her with that. And to be honest, we had looked at that first policy. It was a good policy, designed well. Um, we actually told her that we would help her implement infinite banking on both policies, even though we're not getting paid on that, and it wasn't in the client's best interest to roll that over into a new policy. So we had her keep it, and we're continuing to help her implement infinite banking, because hopefully we can convey this through our content. But we love infinite banking, we support infinite banking, and think people should take an honest look at it, and we want you to learn the right way. And we're not a good fit for everybody, but then go with somebody else who is a good fit. As long as you're doing infinite banking correctly, we're in full support. Before I answer question number 5, if you want to learn about how infinite banking works, we did a video called Infinite Banking in 12 Minutes by Recovering CPA. You can get a good overview of that by checking at this link here above. The number 5 question that you should ask your IBC agent is, what is the process before and after I get my policy? Now, during this process, if you're interested in infinite banking, you're going to have questions. There's going to be some level of education that you're going to need. So ask them, what education is available? How can I ask questions? When am I able to see an illustration? But then also, after you get your policy, how do you learn more? Right? Because oftentimes you may need a refresher course, and you're going to have questions. Who is going to be there to help you answer those questions and to implement infinite banking? Now, in regards to Infinite Wealth Consultants, I would tell you, we have a strict education process. What we found is if we ever skip a step or try to cut corners, things just never turn out well. So we make all of our clients go through the same education that starts with one meeting at a high level. Well, no numbers, just kind of talking in theory. Then the second meeting is we get more detailed. We look at an illustration based on your situation. And then my favorite part, we do a little case study, right? If I buy this asset in cash, or if I buy that same asset through a policy, who's going to have more money at the end of the day? Um, we also have the ability for a fast track. So if there's something you are interested in, you can get on a discovery call with us, and we could talk whether the fast track is best for you. But the bottom line is, we want to make sure you understand it correctly. So sometimes that is going to take some time. Now, after one of our clients has a policy in force, what we will do is we will schedule what we call a resource meeting, typically within 30 days after you have the policy. And that will be to make sure you're connected to all of our resources, meaning our online course, a podcast, YouTube channel. Um, and also, we want to make sure that you can log into your account online so you can kind of see the cash value. And some companies will allow you to take a loan directly from there. But so we're going to make sure at that resource meeting, you have access to all of the resources. And then about 90 days after you have your policy, we have what we call an implementation meeting. And what that means is, we spent a lot of time learning how infinite banking works. Now it's time to shift gears from education to implementation. How am I going to use this policy? And what we will do is we will go over what we call the cash flow matrix. And so there's, based on how much capital you have, how much time you have, and what your goals are, we're going to recommend either some investments or businesses. Again, some ways for you to create that passive income to be more than your monthly expenses. So, and we can't help you implement all of those. We're not an expert in all of those. We're just an expert in infinite banking. However, we work with experts in those other fields, so we can do an introduction. But again, we do want you to do your own due diligence and make sure that that is best for you. And I tell you, a lot of our clients come in, they've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but they're not sure exactly what to do or how to implement it, and or maybe they're super busy with their jobs. Great way to get into creating passive income is what's called a turnkey real estate. Great way to start, meaning The turnkey provider, they will find a house, do the full remodel, put a tenant in there. They're going to collect the tent, the rent. They're going to handle the phone calls, handle any evictions. They're going to handle everything, right? All you are is the money person. You put the money in to buy the property, and then you get the cash flow that property produces. Now we've if you check out this link here, this will be an interview we had with Mid South home buyers, which will give you a good overview of what a turnkey provider takes. Also, once you have your policy in force, we want you to meet with your coach to help you with that first loan. And we do take a team approach here at Infinite Wealth Consultants, but your coach is going to be your main contact. And then, so they're going to know you and help you through the entire process. And if some questions that maybe you have some business questions that maybe we might want to bring Cameron in, where you can meet with Cameron and he can talk about using this in the business. Maybe there's some tax questions, or what's the impact if I free up this money from my IRA or 401k, or how do I deduct the interest that I'm paying to the loan on these policies? Then the coach will bring me in. But the bottom line is your coach will be your main contact, but there's other aspects of Infinite Wealth that we will help you incorporate infinite banking to ideally achieve your goals. Hopefully that was helpful and created some value. To learn more, check out the Infinite Wealth podcast, where that podcast is basically half infinite banking and then half how to create passive income with it, using and incorporating the ideas with Rich Dad Poor Dad. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go make a fantastic day. If you like this video, I know you'll like this one. And if you want to learn how investors use infinite banking to increase their returns and lower their taxes, check this out. And if you have some questions and want to see if infinite banking is for you, hop on a discovery call with us. Link for that will be in the description.